Welcome to the Closing Academy. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics in the car business and in sales. It is the cold call, the dreaded cold call, the calling random strangers to try and convince them to come buy a car, to come buy a home, to have life insurance, whatever the case may be, to be a business partner, to buy construction equipment from you, whatever the case may be, this is the one part that people dread and people hate. How do we have these conversations with people that we don't know, we've never met, we've never talked to, and how do we convince them to come and talk to us about buying a car, about buying a product from us, and how do we build rapport and trust in 30 seconds? So for me, this is the easiest form of training known to man because the number of people that you can talk to is significantly more in the cold call than it is in regular life. For those of us that are car salespeople, we can maybe max sit in front of 5, 6, 7 people a day, but we can call hundreds of people a day and have hundreds of conversations every single day that lead to a successful cold call. So this module is going to teach you, I'm going to do 4 parts about this, okay? But this is going to teach you the overview of a cold call, what not to do, what to do, how to structure your cold call in such a way where you can be successful. And then number 4 is how do we take those numbers and then squeeze them into our favor so we can start getting consistent results, consistent appointments, consistent things. Because after a while, what I started to know is if I picked up a piece of paper, I knew that piece of paper would book me 3 appointments. And after doing some work, I knew 3 appointments would lead me to 1 car deal. So I knew I could pick up 1 piece of paper and whatever numbers are on there, that was a car deal. So the more pieces of paper that I could pick up, the more car deals that I could have. So this is going to teach you how to be an elite cold caller, how to not sound like an amateur, how to not sound like a schmuck, how to not sound like every Joe Blow that calls a car dealership to want to buy a car or that calls a customer to come and buy a car. So welcome to the Closing Academy. So let's start with something. What is the mindset of a cold caller? What is the perception, the perspective that we've got to have in able to be successful? So the first thing that I did when I was a salesman is I found out that I was calling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, beating my head against a wall, beating my head against a wall, beating my head against a wall, not getting anywhere. Is then I sat down, I wanted to structure, and I asked myself, what do I want to actually say? Who am I calling? And what do I actually want to say? You have to figure out those things. So in the overview of a cold call, is the cold call is broken up into the intro, okay, into your pitch, into your close, and into your objections. Okay, I will teach you how to sit down and make a simple step for each one of these that's going to be effective. Your cold call has to be elite. Your introduction has to be elite. Your voice has to be elite. The first thing that I will teach you about a cold call in your intro is you have to dial up your energy to be 100% more of what it is right now. So if your normal temperature of talking to customers is like this, when you get on a cold call, it needs to be like this. If you're like me and your normal energy is up here, you need to be up here. Because on a cold call is you do not have the ability to communicate your body language to your customer. So the only thing that your customer gets to hear is your tone and your words, which then makes that you have to be very, very specific on the type of tone that you choose on the phone. And you have to be very, very, very specific on the type of words that you pick because your customers are going to catch your words and catch your tone. They will not catch your body language. So the first thing that we've got to do before we've even picked up the phone is we need to smile. I cannot tell you how many times I have helped salespeople, helped sales managers, helped people make cold calls, and it sounds like this. Hi, this is Taff from Southtown Chrysler, and I was just calling about your car that was just here, and just wanted to know if you're still driving it. Lame. Or, hey, this is Taff here with Southtown Chrysler, just calling to see if you still own your car. Lame. Or, hi, this is Taff here with Southtown Chrysler, just calling to see if you are still in. Lame. The cold call needs to have energy. The cold call needs to let people know why you're excited. You cannot call an individual you don't know, that you haven't messaged, that has no idea why you're calling them, without energy. The energy is what inspires curiosity. And in the cold call, so today we're only going to talk about the intro and how to get over some of the objections you're going to hear on the intro. Okay? So the first thing that we've got to understand with our intro is our ability to build rapport, find out qualities about our customers, and get engagement. Okay? The first things first is what not to do. Do not let your tone be 0%, 20%, 30%, 40%. You do not want to sound like every other person that's called them. The thing that I learned being a telemarketer is how you sound over the phone is something that you can create. Let me give you some mindset, some perspective. This individual does not know what you look like. This individual does not know who you are. This individual is going to forget your name as soon as you hang up. They're not going to remember who you are. They're not your friend on Facebook. They don't know you on Instagram. They don't know that you sold a car. They don't know if you didn't sell a car. They don't know if you're the top salesperson or the worst salesperson. They have no idea who you are. And the moment they hang up, they're going to forget who you are. So this anxiety that you get about the cold call, about pitching people and asking people, they're going to forget about you anyway. They're not going to know who you are. Even if you book them in for an appointment, if you don't text them your phone number and your name, they're going to forget who you are. So this anxiety that people are going to judge me, people are going to do this, you have to completely toss that out of the window because the consumer is not thinking it anyway. No one cares. No one cares if you stumble on a cold call. No one cares if you fumble the bag on a cold call. Let's fail to success with a cold call. So a couple of things that we want to do. The first time that we're making a cold call is we want to stay away from stuttering. From making thousands of cold calls, the cold calls that went successful were the ones where I didn't stutter that much. But if you find yourself saying, this is Taff here from Southtown Chrysler, and why is that? We're nervous. We're calling a person to try and pitch them on spending $30, $40, $50, $60,000 with us. They don't know us. Take away stuttering. And how do you take away stuttering? Stop guessing when you're doing a cold call. Figure out exactly what you want to say and say that to your consumer on a number one basis. So 3 things that we're going to talk about on what not to do. Number 1 is stutter. We've got to figure out exactly what we want to communicate to our consumer. What do we want to communicate to our consumer? We want to communicate that, hey, we've got a good product, we've got a good service, they should come to buy a car, they should look at what the new incentives are, they should look at what the new vehicles are, they should come give us an opportunity for us to be able to purchase their car. There are a plethora of different pitches that you can have, but the stuttering is what you have to take out. So if I was on the phone, I wish I could do a live cold call with you guys without this module being like 3 hours long. But if you go on my Instagram, you will literally see me multiple times making cold calls with customers, and you will find out one thing is that I'm saying the same thing. What is my introduction? Hey, this is